out of the peer support networks is really just it's in the name, the opportunity to kind of meet and discuss with peers, people in learning and teaching. At Strathclyde, people who are further along on the journey, people who are only just starting and can kind of feed in that enthusiasm and those new ideas. Yeah, just a chance to meet people and share practice and encouragement.
I think the opportunity to meet with like-minded colleagues, definitely, to bounce ideas off each other. It's a great way to get enthused about what you do, and I think most importantly it has been just learning from each other. It's just knowing that you have like-minded colleagues that you can bounce ideas off of. I feel that I have a network that meets face to face, but we're also available for each other virtually as well, which is, I think, crucial in my line of work.
We can build each other up to stand up higher.
No.
Did you like it? We have a number of peer support networks running at Strathclyde University. Over the last few years, they've really become an integral part of the learning and teaching academic development programmes. I know that the network you participated in, I think that was quite a big part of it, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Like understanding. The first peer support network that we put in place at Strathclyde was a network for staff who wanted to apply for senior fellowship of the Higher Education Academy. I needed to apply for my own senior fellowship too at this time. So although I provided facilitation and organisation for the group, I was also part of that peer support network. And for me, being able to experience that firsthand really let me see the power of the networks.
We were asked to make a model of what the peer support network means to us, and really it's people giving you a helping hand towards a goal, people opening gates for you, taking away barriers, just basically being helpful and supportive. You also get to learn that there's other people in your position. People are facing the same tasks, challenges, problems, and there's other ways of working to overcome them. You know.
Advance AG's Good Practice Grant enabled us to carry out an evidence-based evaluation of staff peer support networks at Strathclyde and Glasgow Caledonian University. There are currently 7 networks, including the Mentor Network and the Senior Fellow Community at Glasgow Caledonian University, as well as the HEA Fellowship, Leadership and Learning, Pedagogy and Publication, Playful Learning, and STEP Tech networks at Strathclyde University. We developed a survey and 44 network members responded, and we also carried out focus groups with a further 7 network participants. From this research, a number of notable findings emerged. That networks were considered beneficial to participants' professional development in both tangible ways, like gaining promotion and collaborating on projects with colleagues from other departments, as well as less tangible ways, like serving as a space where participants could really talk about challenges and be exposed to new ideas from colleagues from other departments who they might not normally interact with, but with whom they shared a core interest. We found that the network served as spaces outside the normal that helped to break down barriers between departments and facilitate opportunities for bottom-up innovation in response to challenges that members were facing. The networks were encouraging and positive spaces where participants came away feeling really enthused about their jobs.
I think finding support with my department to work with and meet with people who are doing similar things in different faculties. I think for me it's really important to engage with people out with my department, making me feel more part of the university as a whole. But I think being part of these networks, knowing that people appreciate what I do and actually getting that feedback that, do you know what, that's a great idea, you're doing a good job, or that is really important to me to have that, and it gives me motivation to be brave and go on and do different things. So I think having your work picked up and noticed coming from the networks has been really beneficial.
You need to be reminded it's actually good to work with peers, as you say.
So in terms of how we manage the sessions, we learned quite early on the importance of having structure within the sessions, but then also balancing that structure with time for networking and informal discussion. A typical session might begin with someone presenting a shared experience. They might share their experience of an activity they've done with their students and then demonstrate it with the group so that we get to see it in action in the session. This is often followed with some structured discussion time within small groups and then feeding back into the larger group. We never forget time for lunch or coffee and biscuits, and we finish with a bit of a roundup and forward planning for the group. For example, our Playful Learning group are working together on a playful learning activity for our annual Learning and Teaching Day, and they're talking about planning a playful learning symposium as well.
I think sometimes as an academic you feel that you're on your own, you're doing your own thing, and I think that's something I've learned about over the last few years. Yes, I can do it on my own, but it actually works better in a bigger group, and you get more support. But it's a two-way thing. It's supporting and being supported. So I think it's the sense of being that people are valuing what you do as well. A supportee and a supporter, which has been good.
I think just having that opportunity to discuss things with colleagues, it's just, I mean, we all have such busy schedules, but even just allows you that space to think about your teaching, to think about pedagogy. Probably one of the most valuable things of it for me though is just been bouncing things off of colleagues, but also finding out about what they do, because you don't often get those kinds of opportunities to find out what goes on across the university, because you're in your own wee school or your own wee subject area. So that's been really valuable.
I've started thinking more recently about staff wellbeing as an outcome of the networks, and this is something I'm really hoping to explore in a bit more detail as we continue to reflect on our approach and discuss it with staff. Staff talk about the networks contributing to raising morale, enthusiasm and engagement. They talk about the confidence they take from the support of others, and what I see is really a growing sense of empowerment in the staff that come to the networks.
A lot of the time when you encounter a problem, particularly in research, you can feel quite isolated, and you think it's entirely you that's experiencing this. Is it I lack the skills to do this? Is it I lack the time to do it? Is it I'm not surrounded with the resources I need? Or is it something really simple? And peer support could often highlight a potential solution to these relatively short-term problems, and could suddenly make huge gains in a matter of hours or days after a good couple of weeks of struggling. So peer support networks, I would say I'm all in favour of them.
I guess, that sense of community, being really part of the university and not just isolated within my department. Opportunities as well. I think through the networks I've been invited to speak at conferences, so I think opportunities have come out of that for me. And also the confidence and affirmation that what I'm doing is working and that people appreciate that. Yeah.
There have been things that I've been invited to do within Strathclyde that never would have come about had I not met people through the peer support networks. I've also generated my first publication, my first teaching publication, through the Publication Challenge support network, and I've had opportunities brought to my attention. I've been invited to speak at a conference because one of the people in the peer support networks brought it to my attention.
Well, one really tangible thing is research collaboration. Right. So as part of the Pedagogy and Publication group, it was an opportunity for us to talk about what we were interested in, and then there was just kind of natural groups formed of people who were also interested in the same thing. So I've just submitted an ethics application for a research project with a colleague in chemistry and a colleague in engineering.
Overall, it's clear that peer support networks are highly beneficial for professional development, breaking down barriers between departments, building job-related enthusiasm, and really driving responsive innovation. But of course, we still have a lot to learn about them.
Our networks continue to grow and develop, to thrive, and they'll remain at the core of academic development at Strathclyde. We're starting to see a really diverse and tangible set of outputs developing from the networks: conference presentations, publications, connections, and collaborations. And it's because of this that these networks really are at the heart of Strathclyde culture.